look at all the scandals in the early '90s. How did it survive? How did it get by the Chris Benoit stuff? That darn near um, darn near collapsed the business. I met Chris Benoit exactly one time in my life. I had dinner with him. I was working on the WCW lawsuit about the minority wrestlers who sued Turner Sports. I was
Racial
hired.
discrimination.
That's right. Yes. So I was hired by the law firm of Meadows, Ictor, and Trigg in Georgia. And many people may remember Kerry Ictor as Chris Benoit's father's attorney after the fact. So he was on TV many times making statements. Okay, I worked for him in a investigative capacity. My job wasn't to form an opinion. My job was to gather statistics that they would then try, obviously, to use to show some sort of discrimination. So that's what they paid me to do it. And so I did it to the best of my ability. But in one of those meetings in Atlanta, I sat down with Chris Benoit and Nancy there. And then it was just literally, I don't remember the exact time frame, but it wasn't years later that this all happened. And that was such, how does a business come back from that? But it did, because he was considered, gosh, the best in the world. I mean, there's so many of the hardcore fans just considered him the apex of what a wrestler could be. And for everybody then to have to go, I can't even watch that anymore. It was a tough one to come back from, tougher than I think people really consider. I was just starting the pod. I'd previously had the podcast going at my own website, and I started with Observer at the time. So as Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez and all those are on Nancy Grace and stuff like that, I'm having to keep up with all this unfolding to stay relevant. I've just got thrown into the thing there, and it. Some would argue, and I don't know, wrongfully so, that it never did fully recover from that. Has wrestling ever been as popular as it was pre that? I mean, there's mixed metrics, but I would say it took a bite out of the popularity of wrestling.
Anything about his conduct or his interactions with Nancy during that dinner that you found unusual or concerning?
No, I mean, I wish I had some great revelation that, here's this season. At that point in time, I had 15 or 16 years in. The seasoned investigator sitting across from a, future double murderer. You would have thought I would pick up on something, but I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't pick up on anything other than he's a shy, quiet guy like many other shy, quiet guys I know. And I didn't feel like he was particularly awkward in any sort of way. The attorneys, I felt, not Kerry Ictor himself. I thought he was great, but some of the hanger-ons around there, I felt like they had a very negative view of wrestling in general. In fact, one of them even made the statements, these aren't rocket scientists we're dealing with here. And I thought that was very unfair. While that may be true with some people, like in any other job, there are many very intelligent people in wrestling, as I'm sure you've known and met many people smarter than the average person that just because wrestling is different and unique from any other sport does not make it dumb or silly or anything like that. It makes it unique, and that's good. That's a good thing.